In 1236, the great Khan Ogedei decided Europe looked a little too peaceful and launched what amounted to a continental curb stomp tour, flattening the Kievan Rus, Poland, and Hungary with his terrifying horsemen and enough battlefield trickery to make a Roman general sweat through his toga. These weren't your run-of-the-mill raiders, though. These were the Mongols, professional destroyers with better coordination than a boy band and deadlier choreography than a Tarantino movie. History tends to remember Genghis Khan in one of two ways: as a terrifying warlord who rolled over other civilizations like they were bubble wrap, or as the geopolitical equivalent of Thanos, snapping his fingers and erasing entire enemies. In 1206, after pulling off the logistical nightmare of uniting the people of the Mongolian plateau, a people known as those who live in felt tents, and not known for neighborly cooperation, Genghis achieved a feat most conquerors only dream about: making nomads follow orders. This wasn't just team building with spears, though. It was the beginning of an empire that would devour Asia and still be hungry enough to eye Europe like a buffet with legs. To the east, the Mongols annihilated the Jurchen and Tangut kingdoms in China like someone rage-quitting Civilization 6. Meanwhile, to the west, they obliterated the Khitan and the Khorasanians for crimes such as offering sanctuary. And being mildly inconvenient, Genghis sent his top-tier murder duo, Jebe and Subutai, straight from Persia, which they were mid-conquering as one does, to the Eurasian steppe to deal with the Cuman Kipchak herders. These herdsmen were the next on the Mongol checklist, right after crush resistance and introduce everyone to the joys of panic. Khotan, leader of the Cumans, did the medieval version of calling 911. He begged the Kievan Rus for backup. Together, the Slavs and the Cumans fielded 80,000 men. Unfortunately, the Mongols didn't fight fair, though. Subutai sent 2,000 bargain bin horsemen to fake panic and flee, which the Allies fell for like extras in a horror movie running toward the spooky noises. 9 days and many chafed saddles later, they hit the Kalka River. Surprise! Jebe and Subutai were waiting, and the ambush turned into a massacre. This victory marked the Mongols' first bloody footprint on European soil, but they didn't stick around. Like a boy band on tour, they had other regions to ruin, and Genghis had China on his mind. Fast forward to 1235. Genghis is dead, Ogedei is in charge, and Europe is blissfully unaware it's about to be yeeted into the chaos. Ogedei ordered a massive offensive, assembling 100,000 horsemen, a way bigger force than his father had ever imagined, led by Batu Khan, Genghis's grandson, and not the guy you want showing up on your doorstep with a DoorDash order. Subutai, now a grizzled war veteran and still sharp as a dagger, took command. The Mongols blitzed through the Volga region, crushing the Cuman, Alan, and Bulgar peoples. In December 1237, they laid siege to Ryazan, a major Kievan Rus city. After just 6 days, the fortress fell. The pattern continued: resistance, siege, slaughter, repeat. Kiev fell in 1240, and a 9-day siege and some very creative uses of flammable liquids, gunpowder, and Chinese siege engines, basically a medieval explosions 101 tutorial. This was Europe's first taste of Asian pyrotechnics being used to light up more than just New Year's celebrations. European sources, always reliable when it comes to hyperbole and mass trauma, claim that the Mongols slaughtered city populations wholesale. Thomas of Spalato, a chronicler who witnessed the horror and clearly majored in poetic gore, said that the Mongols left, quote, nobody to piss against a wall. Khotan once again survived, proving that historical figures have main character plot armor. He fled with 40,000 Cumans to Hungary, where King Bela IV took him in like a medieval refugee drama. Noble cause, terrible consequences. Batu wasn't thrilled. He sent Bela a letter that could have doubled as a Bond villain monologue warning, quote, for it is easier for them to escape than for you, since they are without houses and move about in their tents. But as for you who dwell in houses and have fortresses and cities, how will you evade the grasp? Bela, doing his best to cosplay as a holy protector of the realm, refused to hand them over. He saw the Cumans as a useful future Catholic population and a great excuse to build a military force independent of the power-hungry Hungarian nobility. The Hungarian public, however, had different plans. Driven by aristocratic fear-mongering and general xenophobia, a Hungarian mob murdered Khotan, proving once again that medieval diplomacy had a body count. His warriors retaliated by burning their way through villages, and Hungary began unraveling faster than a reality show alliance. Desperate, Bela begged Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II for help, offering to become a vassal. Frederick declined, presumably with a shrug, and said, good luck with that. He even praised the Mongols for being tough, fearless, and great with a bow. Like Tinder bios, if Tinder was for warlords. Bela then turned to Pope Gregory IX, who declared a crusade but didn't actually send any crusaders. The only real help came from Bela's cousin, Henry II the Pious of Silesia, who at least had the courtesy to show up to his own execution. In 1241, Batu and Subutai launched one of history's most coordinated and terrifying multi-pronged attacks. One Mongol column surged through southern Poland. On April 9th, they met Henry II and his Knights Templar at the Battle of Liegnitz. The Mongols used fake retreats, smoke screens, and coordinated like a murderous flash mob. The result? Henry was killed, and his severed head became a travel-sized warning sign on a Mongol spear. Meanwhile, King Wenceslas of Bohemia offered support to Henry, but turned back to defend his own territory. It turned out he needn't have bothered. After Liegnitz, the Mongols didn't go west. They headed south, rejoining the main army and hitting Hungary like a sledgehammer. On April 11th, at the Battle of Mohi, the Mongols used the Nurj, a hunting tactic turned murder method. They encircled the Hungarian army, compressed them, and cut them down in droves. Over 10,000 were killed. The Mongols filled 9 big sacks with ears, which must have made for a truly disturbing inventory day. Bela fled with his Cuman bodyguard in a panic tour through Austria, Croatia, Serbia, and Albania. A Mongol pursuit party tried to catch him, but Bela fled to an island in the Adriatic Sea. The Mongols' mothers told them that they weren't allowed to get wet, and they just left him there. After Mohi, the Mongols sacked the Hungarian capital, Stragonium. Resistance west of the Danube lasted 9 months until winter froze the river solid and the Mongols rolled across like an avalanche in fur coats. By 1242, they reached Vienna. Europe braced for annihilation. Then suddenly, the Mongols just left. Like Batman vanishing mid-sentence, they pulled out, leaving chaos in their wake. Why? One explanation: Ogadai died in December 1241, and Mongol law required all leaders to return for the Kurultai, where the Mongol tribal leaders elect their new Khan. But some historians argue that the news couldn't have reached them that fast. Other theories include brutal winter conditions, overextended supply lines, or the very real fact that even Mongols can get tired of constant ear collecting. Recent archaeology suggests their losses in Hungary were heavier than believed. Retreat might have been more strategic preservation than political formality. Batu didn't give up on Europe entirely. He set up shop in southern Russia and founded the Golden Horde, basically Mongol Europe's headquarters of doom. From the city of Sarai, which its location is still debated today, Batu controlled territory from the Carpathians to Siberia, collecting tribute and running a thriving human trafficking side hustle. Indeed, the Mongol conquest supercharged the Eurasian slave trade. Conquered cities were either depopulated through massacre or turned into mobile job fairs of slavery. Mediterranean markets filled with enslaved people destined for domestic servitude, brothels, and armies. The Golden Horde, at its peak, was the Amazon of human misery. In the early 14th century, Islam became the official religion of the Horde, and they were rolling in riches. Until 1347, when the Black Death rode in like a final boss. The plague devastated the population and authority of the Golden Horde. By 1359, civil war broke out and Mongol power fractured like a cheap sword from Timu. Eventually, the Horde splintered, and local powers clawed back control. Europe breathed a sigh of relief, though likely while coughing up plague-riddled lungs. So the Mongols came, saw, slaughtered, enslaved, innovated, terrified, and then ghosted, leaving behind a shattered continent, a flourishing slave market, and one heck of a cautionary tale.